What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this 2023 Mercedes AMG EQE. This one's finished in Starling Blue Metallic. MSRP is $111,000. Now, powering this fully electric Mercedes sedan is going to be a 90.6 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery, and it pumps out 617 horsepower with 701 pound-feet of torque. Now, there is a very cool boost function that can briefly bump the power to 677 with 738 pound-feet of torque. This car can do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and it has a range of about 225 miles. Of course, it's the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. So let's go ahead and take a look at the styling now. You get a really unique design overall. It's kind of a round car, I would say, but you have these really nice LED headlights, DRLs up above, and a blacked out housing. What would be a grille on a standard car, just a nice trim piece with some horizontal slots, massive Mercedes badge that is a safety sensor. You also get your camera up front with an AMG badge. I really love this blue color and all the contours within this. You can see some more trim and parking sensors, and then chrome trim down below. Now, there is an opening to allow some cooling inside to help cool down some of the electronics. Now, this hood panel does not open. However, you do have some nice sharp lines on it, so it comes together pretty well from the front. Certainly a unique styled car. At the side, you're going to see these 20-inch AMG wheels. Really cool design with all these slots in the side. 5-spoke look with that AMG caliper behind that. And then one of the parking sensors, and just a really smooth body lines. We get the 4MATIC logo on the side as well. Just a really clean side profile. You can see all the chrome trim around the windows with more of the black. And then I love these door handles. They say Mercedes on them, have the chrome and body color. And when you go ahead and press them and lock the car, they're gonna go nice and flush. Really cool the way they're designed. And then you can see them pop back open. We have body color on the mirror with an LED turn signal, as well as a side view camera. And then the overall side profile is pretty unique once again. It's very round. Kind of the whole roofline is the side profile. So definitely an interesting look for the car. Has some good lines overall. In back, we have our charge plug connection. You can see how everything is laid out as you would expect. Then a nice design for these fender flares. Gets a full panoramic roof up top, more of this glass along with some gloss black, and then a lip spoiler on the back. I love the LED taillights as well, and it's really cool how they're all connected. Get the EQE badge on the right, Mercedes in the center, and of course the AMG badge. Backup camera is integrated into here. It'll flip up when in reverse. And you can see all this gloss black in back, some more trim pieces, and a pretty cool looking diffuser. So overall, it's a unique styled car. It comes together well, and it kind of looks like what you would expect an EV to look like. Now, if we're taking a look in the back, we can press the top portion of that, and it's gonna automatically open up the trunk. Now inside, you do get quite a lot of storage space in here for having kind of a coupe-like design. So it's a pretty roomy and practical vehicle. Opening this up, we get just a little bit of storage. And one of my favorite features back here are these buttons to actually fold down these seats. So just pressing them, you can see them pop open just to give you all sorts of space. Then if I just press that one, we can automatically close the trunk. Going inside, you can see the door handles are out. We can open this up, and you get quite a lot of storage space now with these seats folded down. From here, you can easily lift them back up and close them. And then we'll grab this one as well. This can seat 3 people back here. And in the center, of course, you can fold this down. We have a nice armrest, a spot to do a tablet, and then further opening that, we get our cup holder. So pretty cool the way everything is laid out. Beautiful light gray Nappa leather interior with some blue accents. Get some storage down here, along with 2 air vents. And then the door panel has this really nice blue accent color, more of the gray, and some polished aluminum. Now if we go ahead and hop inside, I am 5'11" sitting back here with the driver's seat set at my height. I will say it isn't that comfortable. These seats are very straight up. They don't recline at all, so I don't really feel all too comfortable. I do have plenty of headroom, especially with that panoramic, and really good legroom and knee room. Good armrests and good visibility overall. It's just the backrests are way too upright. So a little uncomfortable back here, I would say. There are definitely other options you can get from Mercedes. However, in a pinch, certainly not the worst back seat out there, and it's nice that you have it. Before we go inside, you can open this up, and this is actually where you put the windshield washer fluid. So kind of a neat design there. But from here, we can go ahead and take a look at the rest of the interior. Of course, similar door panel with the two-tone, heated and ventilated seating with all the memory seats. And then we have all of your controls for the seats themselves. More controls as you would expect, AMG logo, and then this beautiful Nappa leather. Really, really light and premium feeling interior for sure. And then hopping inside now, we can see the nice wood trim. You can hear some cool electronics, foot on the brake. And we can go ahead and turn on all of the electronics. Makes a cool sound as well. And then if we go ahead and take a look at the gauge cluster, this is a full LCD display. You can see all the different information on it. You can also configure it by tapping this home icon and scrolling left and right. So you get all sorts of different designs, just really whatever's gonna fit your taste. So I like how you get a pretty cool setup for all of this gauge cluster. You can see we have some vitals down below that as well. Along the steering wheel, we have controls for the screen, and then this is controlling the screen over here. So we can easily scroll left, right, up, and down and go into all of those. We also have Bluetooth and audio controls, cruise control on the left, and then these two circle dials are very cool for drive modes. We can control this, go into all of our different drive modes, and then we can toggle these to change everything on and off, but then also tap it itself to change what it's going to adjust. So pretty neat the way everything is laid out. We have these paddle shifters as well for the regenerative braking. You can turn that on and off and basically make it go more or less. Gear selector on the right, windshield wipers on the left, and then some headlight controls down below that. See one of these air vents with a really cool rotary dial design, ambient lighting, and then all this blue material all up above. Really cool looking for the center. This is basically what you would see in any Mercedes. We have all of our basic information. You can scroll left and right, full screen navigation as well. And then in our climate menu, you can adjust everything where it's gonna go, but we have all the physical buttons down below as well. So it's actually a pretty easy system to use, and I just like how everything is laid out. If I go ahead and put it into reverse now, you're gonna see that backup camera and top-down view. Then you can adjust all of your different cameras, see every single different area. You can swipe left and right, kind of adjust that as well. And then going into drive, it'll change some guidelines and you can see even more. Underneath that, we do get some physical shortcuts. This AMG icon will go to all of your different drive modes and you can mix and match. So it's really nice to customize how you'd like the car to operate. We have this icon as well. That'll get you to a few more settings. Then a charge button, shortcut for the parking. And then we have our volume on the right side. A lot of this piano black. And then just pushing that out of the way, we get our two cup holders. You just press the center and they're gonna swing outwards. Wireless phone charging, and then a little bit more storage, and then even more storage space all underneath. Really nice armrest design. Pressing that, we get quite a lot of storage space in here, as you would expect. And then opening the glove box, you just press the one button and you can see all sorts of space. One last look at the interior. Pretty nice interior. I mean, this really feels like something special. You can also see the light headliner, dual pane for the panoramic roof, and then our controls right here. If I swipe my finger, that's gonna close the sunshade, and swiping it back, it'll open it up. So pretty cool design. Frameless mirror. But with all that said, let's go for a spin. All right, so we are setting off in the EQE, just in the normal mode. Needless to say, this thing really is pretty darn fast. Gauge cluster is neat how you have all these cool designs. So as far as some normal driving, this drives like a Mercedes, honestly. It is very comfortable. Kind of everything you would expect it to do, it's going to do. The radar cruise, the lane keeping, all that sort of thing on cruise control, this drives very well. Fantastic view out of the front, and just this interior, it is so light and airy feeling in here, but good visibility overall. Over your right shoulder, that is the worst part of the visibility. It's just really hard to see over that right shoulder. The deck behind the headrest is very high up, and you can tell how the rear view is really narrow. So that's the only downfall. Over your left shoulder, no issues at all. The seats are insanely comfortable. You have the massaging seat function, things like that. So, I mean, this is a great place to be. Now, it does weigh a lot, but with that low center of gravity, especially when you dial it up into one of these sport modes, it is really, really planted. And honestly, no body roll at all. And the steering feel is super responsive. This is the AMG, this is the big boy of the EQE. And honestly, it shows when you are taking some turns. It is incredibly quick. One downfall is the sounds this makes, I think, are ridiculous. So in the sound mode right here, if you have it all the way into powerful sounding, that's the sound you get when you floor it. It sounds like I'm hitting 5 notes on a piano that are just awful. And then if you go into the sport one, it sounds a little bit better, but quite honestly, I just think they sound kind of ridiculous. I'd rather just keep it off and have that silent power. So that is certainly a gimmick. Only other thing, and I'll say this while I'm doing the POV, I'm not a big fan of how you can see the charge in the center along with your percentage power. The speedometer is above that, and this number is way more prominent to where you kind of have the double take at your actual speed. So I wish you could configure that to where your speedometer was in the center. And on top of that, if you go to a normal gauge cluster, the steering wheel is round right here. This gauge cluster is square, so you really can't see anything above 60 miles an hour there if you have the steering wheel in a comfortable spot, at least for my height. So I would really rather have that a lot more predominant on the screen. But overall, when you are driving this car, it feels like a comfortable Mercedes, no corners cut, beautiful interior. And I like how Mercedes is actually pretty easy to use. It's fancy and techy looking. However, it's super intuitive. If you're unfamiliar with Mercedes, maybe spend 5 minutes and I think you'll kind of know everything on how to use. So I like it overall. I think it's a pretty cool car to be in. And if you know electric cars are your thing, I don't think you can really go wrong with this. 110 grand for nearly a fully loaded car, I think it's actually a pretty good price point just because it feels every bit of that. It's roomy, it's comfortable, it's luxurious. You'd probably want the EQS if you want better back seats. That's the only real downfall. The other little minute details I'm talking about, those are kind of minuscule, not really a big deal. Just programming could update that. But overall, it's a pretty good place to be. Suspension really does a good job, and it actually does have a good turning radius. I'm not sure if this one has it, but you can get all-wheel steering. That just helps out a little bit. But it's easy to zip around town, and it is really, really fast. Any of the drive modes you're in, especially. Goodness, this thing just takes off like a rocket. And the brakes do a good job too. This is one really, really luxurious EV car if you're looking for one.